My dear love, in this letter of mine, I want to share with you the emotions I have been feeling lately while I'm spending time in my solitude. It might have looked like, with all the traveling I did, the holidays, the way I projected my image in society, that I'm a quiet person who always used to live in solitude. But the truth is that I never really truly was in love with my solitude. There was a certain fear I had always felt in being all by myself. When I met you for the first time, I realized that you were spending a lot of time alone. You were doing things that made you stand out because you were very detached in terms of being away. You were not very concerned or you were not scared at all. Your personality was clearly of a person who could just pick up a bag and go away somewhere and would not even depend on a phone call by anyone. At that point in time, I may not have confessed my love to you, but I had surely treated you in certain ways that you would not have considered me to be an appropriate lover. At least that's what I think. But you did tell me that you were always fond of me, you always liked me, you always loved me. You had some sense of connection with me. When I hurt you, I didn't understand the intensity of my actions. Truth is that I didn't even care how you would be doing or how you would take it. It was all about me and my idea of love. It was all about me, my respect, my humiliation. In my idea of love, there could not be any flaws or any sign of imperfection. There could not be any difference or discord when I meet the right one. That's how I used to think. This was an immature way of understanding love, but it was also because I had started making comparisons of my life with highly unhappy couples who separate because of discord and disharmony. I would see an argument between us leading up to that, going to that only. My comparison was being made with the extremely dissatisfied ones. I didn't want it to end so badly, so I decided to end it myself. After I assumed or agreed that we weren't meant to be with each other, I obviously did not care about consulting with you, or I did not even care about telling you that it's over or I want it to be over. I thought the best way to let you go was to just ignore you, just stop talking to you, and you would eventually realize that I'm not interested in you. I didn't treat you like a mature person. I didn't treat you like a respectable human being. And I couldn't solve the problems between us back then and trashed the whole relationship out. As time passed by, I realized that I also trashed the most real part of our relationship, which were connected to the most real parts of me. I ignored the love between us and focused only on the difficulties. I wanted only happy times. I didn't think, how can anyone be happy 24/7? A single day comprises of various events, incidents, and emotions. And I wasn't willing to see you as human enough to have those various emotions. I wanted you to be a machine, a wind-up dancing monkey toy who was only supposed to entertain me and look happy. I couldn't care about anything that had to deal with real emotions. For a long time, I didn't know what made me act that way, despite all the profound love I had felt for you right from day one when we had started talking to each other. But then I realized, and I started looking into it more deeply. And I felt that it was my own inability to allow myself to be loved for real. I do sound like a really horrible person, and I was not willing to look into it. But it seems that the universe found a perfect way to show me the truth. The universe found the perfect way to break my trust into so many pieces, just the way I broke your trust into so many pieces. The choices I made after I walked away from you, the same choices that I hoped and assumed and was very sure of would make me happy, turned out to be my worst mistakes. These choices, all of those choices, looked so nice, so full of affection and understanding, so endearing, the compatibility, the wavelength. I talked and shared for hours and hours in the beginning, but it only felt like, to me, that I was acceptable just as a toy or just as a model who's supposed to always look well dressed, always look good, always smile. When I shared my weak moments, my fears, and my pain, because I was literally going through pain and I did not understand why. Why now? Because I thought that I'm not going to be in pain anymore. I thought that I was making the correct choices. I was so wrong. It all happened because I was scared of getting rejected and humiliated. When you came in, I started defending myself in advance because you looked like a person who truly loved me, and more than you being in love with me, I was in love with you. Boy, oh boy, I did humiliate you so much. I did insult you so much. But I was only trying to defend myself, and I'm not giving it as a justification. I ended up getting humiliated myself. When my own feelings, my genuine sorrow, and my misery wasn't even acknowledged. The same choices that I made, whether I call them people, persons, situations, places, same choices I made expected me to only put up a happy face. They could not even comprehend what I was going through, who I was. Be it humans or be it objects or situations, all of them told me point blank that they cannot even register my experience. Forget about listening into me without judgment or consoling me or trying to uplift me. That was beyond possibility. This is when I realized what I had done to you. This is when I also realized that why I was expecting so much from you. I realized that the fault wasn't in you, but it was happening because of my own wounds. And should I blame you? No, I can't blame you because my whole life was a choice that I made in the very beginning. I had to go through every single thing the same way. I had to learn those experiences, those lessons. I had to figure things out myself. It wasn't anyone's fault, but it was happening because of my own wounds and because how my journey was designed. The programming was such that it had to be lived the way I lived it. I have been living it and I am living it. So there was a long phase of going through an intense feeling of sadness. What broke me that every time I try to talk about my genuine misery or my pain or my loneliness, I was given a cold shoulder. And then it was even worse because I felt that why did I even talk about it? You feel more disrespected when you talk about something and the other person doesn't even acknowledge it. And I did the same to you. If you told me that you were betrayed before meeting me by other people, by other men, I actually betrayed you even more deeply. And that is something that for a long time I took as a joke. But as time passed by and when I felt like that I had become like a joke, or my feelings were being seen as some big joke, it all started dawning upon me that the world could be a good and bad place depending on how we see it. There's nothing can be done if I blame you or I blame somebody else. I have to look within and I have to heal those parts of me, those broken parts of me. There was definitely a long phase of going through an intense feeling of sadness. But I would want to spend time with myself and I would look for places where I could bury myself into. And most importantly, I was willing to face my fears of loneliness. I wasn't scared of being lonely. And one good thing about this prolonged pensive emotion was it was a kind of soft kind of a sadness. And it existed almost everywhere. I also learned that there is no apparent gain in going through pain. It made me wonder if my decision and actions was worthy of all this trouble. But for some strange reason, I was willing to go through it all because I knew that going back to you without figuring it all out wasn't ideal or logical. And it wasn't emotional as well. I felt as if you were in my room or you were with me. Sometimes I could sense that you could sense my emotions. So many days passed by, the dreaminess of it all. I don't want to sound superior or project myself as a gift to humanity, but I want to love you fully and for real, and I know you deserve a better version of me. A loyal companion that I was so capable of becoming, but I never acted like one. But you have acted like the final piece of the puzzle. Your existence in my journey has been phenomenal because you have helped me face my fear of solitude, my fear of being in pain. Going through pain like one would go through happy moments. Both happiness and sorrow are illusions and we can create both. My attachment with the choices I made was evident. And the downfall was faster than anyone could have imagined. The same person or vocation or city or lifestyle, methodology, all of that which appeared so attractive and positive and alluring, so comforting most importantly, became the biggest reason of my discomfort and became my biggest pain. I wanted to avoid it all. I couldn't even spend another minute with those things. I call them all things now. I didn't want to deal with any of what happened between us because I was selfish. But when I saw immense amount of selfishness in other people, I literally said to myself, how can anyone be so selfish? Are all these selfish people happy? How can they be happy when they're constantly trying to look happy, trying so hard to look happy? And I was doing the same thing. I was no different from them. I wasn't happy either. You are my love, my medicine, my elixir, my strength, my Shakti. I wish we hadn't gone away. I wish something had stopped me from being so ruthless. Because that's not even me. Or maybe that's me, but that's the part of me that I want to heal. I want to transform it into something better. I'm a gentle being otherwise, but with you I turned into a beast. It was destiny maybe, but I know that you are my beauty and only you can make me release my curse of living as a beast. You know, only you can help me come back to my natural self, and I know it too. But it's okay, because you're gonna help me find out my way back to you independently, my home. I feel close to you, more close to you. And I know that all of this happened to help me understand commitment better. But I know that all of this happened to help me understand commitment better. The commitment I made to you, and I totally forgot about it. A real man doesn't give commitment until and unless he is sure about it. Because when one does commit, then one must do everything to follow through fully. I am in the process of getting myself out of all the wrong situations that I put myself into knowingly. I'm trying to work it all out. It's obviously not easy, but maybe something worse could have happened. Maybe I could have fallen really low, unable to come back up ever again in this life. But I feel like as if I have woken up from a nightmare in the right time. And I have to meet you on the other side of it all. I am going to prove my worth to you in the right time. But now I am open to go through this pain and suffering. I don't want to react to it. I don't want to run away from it. I don't want to fight it. I just want to face it. I deserve it. It's much worse than anything I have faced, but I deserve it as much as I deserve to be with you, my love. And to be with me in the real sense will only help me be with you in the real sense. We deserve to be with one another, my love. I love you.